Dejounte Murray got traded to the Pelicans, bro. The Trae Young Dejounte tandem is already over, and it really never began for real. I think Trae was hurt most of last season. Season before that, they was in the play-in and lost. Everybody thought they was gonna trade, or wanted them to trade Trae Young. Ended up trading Dejounte. A lot of people thought Dejounte was gonna get traded to the Lakers. Well, let's hear what Trae Young gotta say.
Obviously, Dejounte going to New Orleans, but at the time, it was a big trade sending him to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And I know what it's like, that pressure of being the lone star on a team, and the initial trade. I'm sure you was excited to get the help of Dejounte.
He talking about he was a lone star in Indiana.
We got to talk about, obviously, Dejounte going to New Orleans, but at the time, it was a big trade sending him to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And I know what it's like, that pressure of being the lone star on a team.
It was a big trade because Atlanta traded 4 first-round picks for him, but I don't know, bruh. I don't know if he's on that superstar his level like that. Don't get me wrong, good defensive player, knows how to a good point guard, knows how to get buckets. I don't know if he made the All-Star team that year. I mean, I could look that up, but you know what I'm saying? He might have. I think he probably did. He was on a Spurs team that wasn't really doing good, rebuilding mode, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. And plus that fit, it ain't even DeJounte's fault. That fit ain't that just wasn't a good fit. You know what I'm saying? That, I don't know why they thought that was ever gonna work. You bringing in a guard who's most effective when they have the ball to play with your current star guard who's good with the ball. So it's that doesn't make sense. I don't even know who did they trade Dejounte Murray for? Dyson Daniels or something like that?
Team and the initial trade, I'm sure you was excited to get the help of Dejounte. But short stint, y'all played 2 years together. Talk to us a little bit about that time spent together, you guys on the court, and just the bond and chemistry y'all create.
That's like you have Steph Curry on your team, right? Not that, imagine you have Steph Curry on your team and you don't have Clay, you don't have Draymond, you just have Steph, right? And then you trade for another point guard. I can't even think, you know what I'm saying?
I think it was, to be honest, it was a great,
Trae Young with a beard came as just random. I feel like that came out of nowhere.
Good and bad. You know what I'm saying?
I think he had a stubble. Before, but big beard like this just came out of nowhere.
It was the only bad part is we didn't get to win as much as we wanted to. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, the good
you had to go to you.
part is we have a lifelong relationship. Our relationship goes outside of basketball. We're both family men. Our morals are very much similar as far as who we have around us, what we try to do with our everyday lifestyle, everything. We try to do everything for others and things like that. The way we get along off the court is forever. That's why our relationship is forever. But on the court, it's just tough because we wanted to win, but it's just sometimes we're not the first duo that couldn't work, and we're not gonna be the last. So
that's a fact. That's a fact.
It's just 2 point guards, and obviously when the time happened, I was overly excited. I was the first person that called one. I think before the news even broke, but I knew it was final and things like that. But I was super excited because I knew I had somebody that could come in and help me, or I knew a really good player. Mm-hmm. And but it just didn't work out on the court, and it sucks. It sucks, and we both admit it sucks, and that's just part of the game. If it doesn't work, teams have to figure out what to do next and make moves.
Because Trae, don't get me wrong, got a brain freeze, but Trae doesn't really play off the ball well. You know what I'm saying? Trae does a lot of good things with the ball. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think Dejounte plays as well off the ball as he does on the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had Steph Curry and Dejounte Murray, that's totally different because Steph plays so well off the ball that he doesn't need the ball to be effective. You know what I'm saying? Like Trae isn't running around off screens and like setting screens himself. Like, cause Steph will set some screens and then he'll go run off some screens and just constantly moving. That's a difference, bro. Cause like that's why a lot of people like what they harp on about Luka and James Harden. They don't do nothing off the ball. So if they not doing anything on the ball, they just standing over there like yep. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I think Trae would have to recognize. Like, I need to add another layer to my game, like my approach. Like, I can't just be like, I mean, of course you want to be the guy with the ball in your hands, but be effective when the ball gets out of your hands. You know what I'm saying? As well.
Right. Initially, though, like when he got there, was it just like, did you notice it right away? Like, oh yeah, I'm loving this. Like he gets to handle the ball a little bit, take a little pressure off me. Like I can spot up sometimes.
Yeah, I think it was tough because we're both very unselfish in ways. So it's like there were times early where I'm passing it to him and he wants to be aggressive, but he's a point guard too. So he's not, you know what I'm saying, thinking score first all the time. But when I'm on the court, sometimes he's a shooting guard, but sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the combination just kind of just didn't.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
And
It's just not a good fit. Nothing wrong with either player. Both of them are great players. Both of them all-stars. Just wasn't a good fit.
And on paper, you may think it would because in San Antonio, he's a really good defender, known as just a defender. Wasn't really known as a scorer, but just defender, can kind of do everything. Rebound, score, but get other guys involved. But when he came to us, it's like it's just a different feel. And so, it just sucks it didn't work.
What is the best compliment to Trae Young? Like, what type of player would that be? It would have to be a player who also plays defense. It's got to be like the best player, not the best player, but the player type would probably be like an Anthony Davis. Like a big who could play defense, but also scores on the offensive end. You know what I'm saying? Like, Trae gets a lot of flack for not being able to play defense, but a lot of times defense it's a lot of effort. Don't get me wrong, but it's also like being tall, being strong, having long arms, being twitchy, like really quick. A lot of small guards ain't really like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't got the longest wingspan, especially in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So he needs somebody like that. But they got a lot of wings in Atlanta, man. What's going on in Atlanta with all these wings, bro? They got Hunter. They just picked the number 1 pick for the dude from France. You know what I'm saying? They got Bogdanovich. Like, they got a lot of wing depth, and they don't really have that, like, they need, like, a star big man, bro. They need, like, that KG, Tim Duncan. Like, Trae Young, I don't know if Trae Young could do what Jamal Murray do. Don't get me wrong, Jamal Murray be cooking. I know he had a bad Olympics, but he be cooking. I don't know if Trae could do that, but I have him in that same level as Jamal Murray as, like, if he's a number 2 guy, he's a really good number 2 guy. Does that make sense? So, I don't know. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, man. I'll catch y'all on the next one. You know what I'm saying?